I can hear everything. That's the part they don't know. I'm lying here in this ICU bed at Mount Sinai, and according to the machines, according to Dr. Patel's careful notes on the clipboard at the foot of my bed, I'm what they call minimally conscious. Brain activity minimal. Motor function 0. Prognosis poor. But I can hear everything. The ventilator breathing for me, the steady beep of the heart monitor, the squeak of nurses' shoes on linoleum at 3 a.m., the low hum of the fluorescent lights that never ever turn off. And I can hear my husband Nathan's voice right now, just 2 feet from my head, as he stands over my supposedly dying body and holds her hand. The doctor said it could be any day now, he's saying. His voice has that sad, reverent tone he uses when he wants people to think he's being brave. Her brain activity is almost gone. You must be exhausted, baby. That's Sabrina, his administrative assistant. 28 years old, blonde highlights, and a voice like honey poured over broken glass. You've been so strong through all of this. I've been in this bed for 6 days. 6 days since the accident. 6 days since my Tesla went off the Taconic Parkway at 70 miles an hour, flipped 3 times, and wrapped itself around an oak tree like a piece of aluminum foil. They told Nathan I'm lucky to be alive. But I'm starting to think lucky isn't the right word. I just want to do right by her, Nathan says, and I swear I can hear him moving closer. I feel his breath near my face. That's why I think we should go ahead with cremation. You know, when the time comes. Paisley always said she didn't want people staring at her in a casket. I never said that. Not once. Not ever. That's so thoughtful of you, Sabrina murmurs. No autopsy either, right? I mean, if the cause is already clear from the accident? My heart monitor beeps a little faster. Just a flutter. But neither of them notices. Right, Nathan says. No point in dragging it out. The accident report is clear. She lost control. Probably texting or something. You know how she was always on her phone? I wasn't on my phone. I was driving home from my mother's house in Poughkeepsie, hands at 10 and 2, sober, careful, the way I've driven for 23 years without a single accident. I was thinking about what to make for dinner. And then nothing. Just the sound of metal screaming, glass exploding, and my body slamming against the seatbelt so hard I thought I'd been cut in half. Once she's gone, Sabrina says, and her voice drops lower, intimate, like she's sharing a secret. Everything becomes ours, right? The house in Scarsdale, the investment accounts, her half of the business. Nathan doesn't answer right away. When he does, his voice is different, colder. Everything, he says. I'm the sole beneficiary. She never changed her will after we got married. God, Nathan. Sabrina laughs softly. It's a sound I've heard 1,000 times in our kitchen, at our dinner table, at last year's Christmas party when I thought she was just being friendly. You really pulled this off. Pulled this off. Pulled this off. My mind is screaming, but my body won't move. Not my fingers, not my eyelids, not even my lips to form the words that are tearing through my brain like a wildfire. What did you do? What did you do? I had to be sure, Nathan says, and now I feel his hand on mine. The same hand that slipped a ring on my finger 12 years ago in front of 200 people at the plaza. The brake line was tricky. I watched 3 YouTube videos to make sure I cut it right. Oh my God. Oh my God. So that's why she couldn't stop, Sabrina says, and she sounds almost impressed. She must have been terrified. I was. I remember now. Pumping the brakes. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just my foot slamming down on a pedal that might as well have been a piece of cardboard. The steering wheel shaking in my hands, the guardrail coming up so fast. Probably, Nathan says. But it's over now, and in a few days we can finally stop pretending. I'm so tired of pretending, Sabrina whispers. Me too, babe, me too. They're kissing. Right here, 2 feet from my head. While I'm supposedly dying. While they wait for me to die. While they plan for me to die. The machine next to me beeps faster, faster. My blood pressure spiking, my heart racing, my body betraying the fact that I'm still here, still conscious, still fighting. But they don't notice. They're too busy making plans. We should go, Nathan finally says. Visiting hours are almost over. And I don't want the nurses to think I'm not grieving enough. You're such a good actor, Sabrina says, and they laugh together. Footsteps. The door opening, closing. Silence. I'm alone. And that's when I feel it. Something warm sliding down my cheek. A tear. Just one. Running from the corner of my eye, down my temple, pooling in my ear. I can't move. I can't speak. But I can cry. And somewhere deep inside this broken body, in some part of me they didn't manage to destroy, I make a promise. If I survive this, you will pay for what you've done. The door opens again. Soft footsteps. A woman's voice. Oh, honey. I feel a hand on my forehead, gentle, kind. I saw that, the nurse whispers. And then, so quietly I almost miss it. I saw everything. The nurse's words are still echoing in my head when the morphine pulls me under, and I dream. Not a dream, really. A memory. I'm standing in our old apartment in Astoria, the one-bedroom walk-up on 34th Avenue with the radiator that clanked all night and the neighbor who played saxophone at 2 a.m. It's 2001, maybe 2002. Nathan is sitting at our kitchen table, head in his hands, surrounded by rejection letters from venture capital firms. His third startup idea. His third failure. I can see myself moving through that tiny kitchen, 29 years old, still in my scrubs from the double shift at Lenox Hill. My feet aching, my back screaming. But I'm making him tea anyway. Earl Grey, 2 sugars. The way he likes it. We'll figure it out, I'm saying. We always do. And we did. I picked up weekend shifts. Sold my grandmother's pearls, the ones she brought over from Dublin in 1952, the ones she made me promise to keep in the family. Got $3,200 for them at that pawn shop on Steinway Street, enough to cover 3 months' rent while Nathan retooled his business plan. I told him the clasp broke, that I'd lost them on the subway. He believed me. The memory shifts. Now I'm in a different apartment. Better neighborhood. Long Island City, 2007, 2008. The financial crisis hitting hard. Nathan's mother is dying of cancer at New York Presbyterian, and the bills are drowning us, insurance covering maybe 60%, the rest falling on us like snow that never stops. I'm working 4 12-hour shifts a week as a nurse practitioner, coming home to spreadsheets and payment plans and phone calls with billing departments where I'm begging for extensions, negotiating down charges, promising money I don't have yet but will find somehow. Nathan is trying to get another business off the ground. Just 1 more year, he keeps saying. Just give me 1 more year. I give him 5. His mother holds my hand the night before she dies, her grip surprisingly strong. You're the best thing that ever happened to my son, she whispers. Promise me you'll never give up on him. I promise, I say. And I meant it. I meant every word. The memory shifts again. We're finally stable. Nathan's consulting firm is growing. We buy the house in Scarsdale, 4 bedrooms, wraparound porch, the kind of place I used to drive past as a kid and wonder what it felt like to live somewhere that solid, that permanent. I'm decorating the living room, hanging pictures, our wedding photo, Nathan and his mom. A shot from our trip to the Berkshires, where we look so young, so hopeful, so in love. Nathan comes up behind me, wraps his arms around my waist. We made it, he says. We did, I whisper back. And I remember thinking, this is what marriage is. Not the easy parts, the hard parts. The holding on when everything else lets go. I believed in that. I believed in us. Another shift. 2019. I'm meeting Sabrina for the first time at Nathan's office holiday party. She's young, bright-eyed, enthusiastic. She shakes my hand and says, Mr. Morrison talks about you all the time. He's so lucky to have you. I smile. I actually smile. We're lucky to have each other, I say. She laughs, touches Nathan's arm. Just briefly. So briefly I tell myself it means nothing. He's the best boss I've ever had, she says. I watch Nathan's face. Looking for something. A flicker. A tell. But he just smiles back at her. Professional. Appropriate. And I let it go. Because that's what you do when you've built a life with someone, when you've sacrificed and struggled and survived together. You trust. You choose trust over suspicion. You choose love over fear. You choose wrong. The memories are fading now, dissolving back into the morphine haze, but one more surfaces. Last month. 3 weeks before the crash. I'm cooking dinner. Pasta carbonara. Nathan's favorite. He's late again. 3rd time this week. When he finally walks in, his collar is slightly crooked, and there's a faint smudge of lipstick peach, not my shade, just barely visible on his neck. Long day? I ask. Brutal, he says, kissing my forehead. Client emergency. I almost say something. The words are right there. What client? What emergency? Why do you smell like perfume that isn't mine? But instead I say, go wash up. Dinner's almost ready. He disappears upstairs. And I stand there in our beautiful kitchen, in our beautiful house, stirring pasta and telling myself I'm imagining things. If you've ever given everything to someone who later turned away, you'll understand this part, the way you can see the signs and still choose blindness. The way love becomes a kind of faith that doesn't require proof. I spent 25 years building a marriage, protecting it, believing in it. And he spent God knows how long planning my death. The heart monitor beeps faster. Somewhere in the darkness behind my closed eyes, I feel that single tear still wet against my skin. And I hear the nurse's voice again. Soft and certain. I saw everything. I wake to voices again. Not dreams this time, real voices, close. The room smells different. Perfume. That same sickly sweet peach scent I caught on Nathan's neck 3 weeks ago. The scent I told myself meant nothing. I hear the scrape of a chair being dragged across linoleum. Someone's settling in. Getting comfortable. God, these chairs are terrible, Sabrina says. My back is killing me. We won't have to come here much longer, Nathan replies. His voice is flat, businesslike, the tone he uses when he's closing deals. Dr. Patel said her organs are starting to fail. Could be 48 hours, maybe less. Thank God. She sighs. Actually sighs. Like she's been waiting for a delayed flight that's finally boarding. I'm so ready to move on with our lives. Me too. I feel something inside me crack, not my ribs. Those are already broken. Something deeper. Something I didn't know could break. So I was thinking, Sabrina continues, once everything is settled, we should sell the Scarsdale house. It's way too big for just the two of us, and honestly, it feels like hers. I want a place that's ours. Maybe something in Tribeca? A loft with good light? Yeah, Nathan says. Makes sense. The house should sell for at least $2 million, maybe 2.3 in this market, plus her life insurance is $500,000. The business assets, her 401k, the investment accounts we're looking at close to $4 million total. $4 million. That's what I'm worth to him. Dead. We could travel, Sabrina says, and I can hear the smile in her voice. I've always wanted to see Tulum and Barcelona. Oh, and that resort in Bali you showed me. We'll do all of it, Nathan says. We'll do everything we couldn't do before. Before ID. Before they're free. I hear movement. Fabric rustling. Footsteps. What are you doing? Nathan asks. Just looking. Sabrina's voice is coming from somewhere near the window now, near the small closet where they've stored my things, the clothes I was wearing when they brought me in, my purse. Mais Valerie. Be careful, Nathan says, but he's laughing, actually laughing. Relax. She can't see us. She can't see anything. More rustling. The sound of a zipper. My purse. Oh wow, Sabrina breathes. Is this the anniversary necklace? The Tiffany one? My necklace. The platinum chain with the small diamond pendant, the one Nathan gave me on our 10th anniversary, he'd saved for 8 months. I remember because he'd stopped buying lunch at work, started bringing sandwiches from home. I found the receipt later, tucked in his desk drawer. $4,800. I worked so hard to afford that thing, Nathan says. There's something strange in his voice. Not nostalgia. Not sentiment. Something closer to resentment. Thought it would make her happy. She wore it once. Once. To the anniversary dinner. Then it just sat in the drawer. That's not true. I wore it on special occasions. I was careful with it. I loved it. I loved what it meant. Can I try it on? Sabrina asks. Silence. Then, why not? I hear the delicate click of the clasp. The soft sound of chain against skin. How do I look? Beautiful, Nathan says. It looks better on you than it ever did on her. The heart monitor beeps faster. Faster. My blood pressure spiking. But they don't notice. They never notice. You know what's funny? Sabrina says. She's close to the bed now. I can feel her presence. She really thought you loved her. Like, genuinely believed it. Even at the end. I know, Nathan says. Did you ever? Love her, I mean? The silence stretches out. Long enough that I think maybe he won't answer. Long enough that some desperate, pathetic part of me hopes he won't answer. In the beginning, maybe, he finally says. Or I thought I did. But honestly, she was just there. Convenient. She paid the bills when I couldn't. Took care of my mom. Kept everything running while I figured my shit out. She was useful. Useful. 25 years of marriage. 25 years of sacrifice. And I was useful. It's better this way, Nathan continues. She can't fight back. Can't hire lawyers. Can't make this messy. One signature on the cremation form, and it's done. Clean. You're brilliant, Sabrina whispers. I'm practical, he corrects. They're kissing again. I can hear it. The soft sounds, the intimate murmurs, right here, right beside my supposedly dying body. My body won't move, won't scream, won't fight. But something inside me, something they haven't managed to kill, is crystallizing into something hard and cold and absolutely certain. If you've ever trusted someone so deeply that their betrayal made you question your own worth, you're not alone. I'm lying here, trapped in my own body, listening to the man I loved reduce our entire marriage to a transaction, and I'm telling you this because someone needs to hear it. Someone needs to know that betrayal like this exists, and that somehow, we survive it. The door opens. Footsteps. Visiting hours are over, a voice says. The nurse. The one from before. Of course, Nathan says, his tone shifting instantly. Somber, grieving. I just needed a few more minutes with my wife. I understand, the nurse says. But her voice is strange. Careful, take your time. They leave. Finally. They leave. And in the silence that follows, I hear the nurse move closer. She touches my hand. I'm calling someone, she whispers. Someone who can help. Just hold on a little longer. Can you do that for me? I can't answer. But somewhere deep in the darkness, I'm already holding on. Not for him. For me, time stops meaning anything in the ICU. There's no day or night, just the fluorescent hum that never ends, the beep of machines, the shuffle of nurses changing shifts, the squeak of wheels on linoleum at hours that could be 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. I've stopped trying to track it. I just exist. Breathing because a machine tells my lungs to breathe. Heart beating because it hasn't figured out how to stop yet. Alive in the most technical sense of the word, and dead in every way that matters. The nurse, her name is Caroline, I've learned from listening, comes in every few hours to check my vitals, adjust my IV, reposition my limbs so I don't get bed sores. She's gentle. She hums sometimes. Old songs. Etta James. Billie Holiday. Songs my mother used to play on Sunday mornings. She's the only kindness I have left. Everyone else who comes through that door is performing. Nathan's sister visited yesterday, or maybe it was 3 days ago. She stood at the foot of my bed and cried. Real tears. I could hear them in her voice. I can't believe this happened, she said to Nathan. She was always so careful. So responsible. I know, Nathan said. His hand found mine. Squeezed it, the same hand that cut my brake line. It's just so senseless. Are you holding up okay? His sister asked. I'm trying, he said. I'm just trying to be here for her, in case she can hear me, in case some part of her knows I'm here. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rip my hand away from his, to sit up and tell his sister everything, to watch his face collapse when the truth came out. But my body is a prison. And he knows it. After his sister left, he leaned close to my ear. Good job, he whispered. Keep sleeping. My old friend Rachel came 2 days after that. She brought flowers, peonies, my favorite. She put them on the windowsill and talked to me for 20 minutes about her daughter's college applications, her husband's new job, the book club we used to attend together. I miss you, she said before she left. Please come back to us. But she didn't stay long enough to see Nathan and Sabrina arrive 30 minutes later. Didn't see Sabrina sit in the same chair Rachel had sat in. Didn't hear Nathan say, we should start making funeral arrangements. Just to be prepared. If you've ever sat in a room so quiet it started to echo your thoughts, you'll understand this silence. The kind that wraps around you like water, heavy and suffocating, until you forget what your own voice sounds like. I'm here, trapped inside myself, and the loneliness is so complete it feels like gravity. Thank you to those who help keep these stories alive. Your kindness helps give voice to people who've been forgotten, who sit alone in their pain, waiting to be seen again. The days blur together. Dr. Patel comes in with his clipboard. He talks to Nathan in low, serious tones about brain activity, organ function, quality of life. He uses words like minimal responsiveness and poor prognosis and difficult decisions ahead. Nathan nods solemnly, asks thoughtful questions, plays the role of the anguished husband beautifully. "I just want what's best for her," he says. "I don't want her to suffer." "Of course," Dr. Patel says. "We'll give it a few more days. See if there's any improvement. But if her condition continues to deteriorate..." He doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't have to. That night, after visiting hours end, Nathan comes back. I hear him before I see him, the door opening quietly, his footsteps, the chair scraping across the floor. He doesn't speak at first. Just sits there in the dark, breathing. Then, "You know what's funny, Paisley? I used to feel guilty. In the beginning. When I first started planning this, I'd lie awake at night thinking about all the years you stuck by me, all the sacrifices you made." He pauses. "But then I'd remember how trapped I felt, how every day with you was just obligation, routine, boredom, and I'd think, I deserve better than this. I deserve to actually feel alive." My heart monitor beeps steady, betraying nothing. "Sabrina makes me feel alive," he continues. "She's exciting. She's young. She doesn't look at me like I'm some project she's been working on for 25 years. She looks at me like I'm something worth wanting." His hand finds mine again. "So no," he says quietly. "I don't feel guilty anymore. I feel free. Or I will. Soon." He leans closer. I can feel his breath on my face. "If you can hear me, and I don't think you can, but if you can, I need you to know something. This isn't personal, it's just practical. You were good to me, Paisley. You really were. But good isn't enough. It was never going to be enough." He stands. Footsteps toward the door. Then he stops. "Oh, and the doctor? He thinks you're deteriorating. I told him I'm ready to let you go. Whenever you're ready." The door closes. And I'm alone again. Alive inside a coffin with no lid. Screaming into silence that swallows every sound. But somewhere deep in the frozen wasteland of my body something is stirring. Not hope. Not yet. Something colder. Something that tastes like survival. It happens on a Tuesday. I know because Caroline mentions it to another nurse during shift change. "Tuesday evening," she says. "Dr. Patel wants updated labs by morning." I've been counting days by the rhythm of Caroline's voice. She's worked every shift since the night she whispered, "I saw everything." But nothing has changed. Nathan still comes. Sabrina still comes. They still talk about my funeral like they're planning a vacation. And I'm still trapped. Until tonight. Caroline comes in alone. Later than usual. The hallway is quiet. That deep 2 a.m. hospital quiet where even the machines seem to whisper. She closes the door. Locks it. My heart monitor picks up. Just slightly. But she notices. "Paisley," she says softly, moving close to the bed. "I need you to listen to me very carefully. I've been watching you for days, and I don't think you're as gone as they say you are." She pauses. "I've been a nurse for 17 years. I've seen locked-in syndrome before. I've seen patients who can hear everything, feel everything, but can't move, can't speak, trapped inside their own bodies." She takes my hand. "I've also seen your husband," she continues, "and his assistant. I've heard things that don't make sense for a man whose wife is dying." Her thumb traces small circles on my palm. "So I'm going to ask you something, and if I'm wrong, nothing happens. But if I'm right?" She leans closer. "Paisley, if you can hear me, really hear me, I need you to try something. Anything. A finger twitch, an eye flutter, a change in your breathing. Can you do that?" I focus every atom of my being on my right hand, the one she's holding. "Move. Please move. Please." Nothing. My body is stone. "It's okay," Caroline says. "It's okay. Let's try something else." She releases my hand and moves to my face, her fingers gentle near my eyes. "I'm going to ask you a yes or no question. If the answer is yes, try to blink. Just once. Can you do that?" Silence. "Paisley. Can you hear me right now?" I summon everything. Every ounce of will, every fragment of strength I have left. Blink. My eyelid moves. Once. Just once. But it moves. Caroline's breath catches. "Oh my God," she whispers. "Oh my God, you're in there." She's crying. I can hear it in her voice. Okay, we're gonna do this again. 1 blink for yes. 2 blinks for no. Do you understand? Blink. Are you Paisley Morrison? Blink. Is Nathan Morrison your husband? Blink. She pauses. When she speaks again, her voice is different, harder. Did your husband cause your accident? Blink. Once. Yes. Caroline's hand grips mine tighter. Does he know you can hear him? Blink. Blink. No. Paisley, listen to me. I heard them talking. 3 nights ago, outside your room. They didn't know I was in the supply closet. He told her to be patient, that the insurance money would hit his account within 48 hours of your death. She leans even closer. I recorded it, she whispers. On my phone. I wasn't sure what I was hearing at first. But now I know. If you've ever found truth in the quiet moments after pain, you know what this part feels like. That first breath after drowning, that first light after darkness. Someone finally sees you. Thank you to everyone who supports these stories. Your kindness keeps hope alive for people still finding their voice after betrayal. I'm calling someone, Caroline says. A detective, a friend of mine, someone I trust. But first, I need to make sure you're safe. Do you understand? Blink. Is there anyone Nathan might hurt if he finds out you're conscious? Blink. Blink. No. There's no one left. Just me. Good, she says. Then here's what we're going to do. She pulls up a chair, sits close, and in the darkness of that ICU room, with machines beeping and fluorescent lights humming, Caroline begins to plan. Not my funeral. My resurrection. There comes a point when silence stops, meaning defeat. It becomes preparation. Caroline works the night shift 3 times a week. On the nights she's not here, another nurse named Maria covers. Maria is kind but busy, rushing between rooms, checking boxes on charts, administering meds with efficient precision. She doesn't notice the small recording device Caroline tucked behind the blood pressure monitor. She doesn't see the micro-movements in my fingers that Caroline has been documenting in a private log. She doesn't know that every word spoken in this room is being captured. Caroline and I have developed a language. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no, 3 rapid blinks for danger if someone's coming, if I need her to stop talking, if Nathan's nearby. It's limited, frustrating, but it's communication. And communication is power. Okay, Caroline whispers during her shift tonight. Detective Brennan is coming tomorrow, plain clothes. He'll pose as a hospital administrator doing quality control checks. He'll review your case file, talk to Dr. Patel, and observe Nathan if he visits. Blink. He's bringing someone from the DA's office. Quietly. They want to hear the recordings first, before they make any moves. Blink. Paisley, they're going to ask you to do something hard. They want to set a trap, a meeting, where Nathan has to make a choice about your care in front of witnesses. My heart monitor spikes slightly. I know, Caroline says. I know it's terrifying, but if he pushes to withdraw life support, if he signs those papers while we have evidence of motive, that's attempted murder. Conspiracy, insurance fraud, all of it. She squeezes my hand. You'd have to keep pretending. No blinking. No reactions. Even if he says terrible things, even if Sabrina is there. Can you do that? I think about the last 3 weeks. The conversations I've overheard. The funeral plans. The casual cruelty. The necklace around Sabrina's throat. His voice in the dark. Good isn't enough. It was never going to be enough. Blink. Yes. I can do it. Good, Caroline says, because we're going to bury him. Over the next 2 days, I become a ghost in my own body. Detective Brennan visits. Mid-50s, gray hair, tired eyes that miss nothing. He stands at the foot of my bed reviewing charts while Caroline hovers nearby. Mrs. Morrison, he says, as if I can hear him. Professional, detached. I'm reviewing your case as part of our hospital quality assurance program. Just routine. Nathan isn't here. He rarely comes during the day anymore. Only evenings, when there are fewer witnesses. Brennan listens to the recordings that night in Caroline's car. She tells me this later, her voice tight with controlled rage. He looked sick, she says. Not sad sick. Disgusted sick. When he heard Nathan talking about the brake line, about the insurance money. Brennan just sat there shaking his head. What did he say? I blinked the question in our crude code. He said, We're going to make sure this bastard never sees daylight again. The trap is set for Friday. Dr. Patel schedules a family meeting. To discuss care options and long-term prognosis, the language is careful, clinical, but Nathan hears what he wants to hear. On exit strategy. Caroline preps me Thursday night. Tomorrow, no matter what happens, you stay completely still. No blinking unless your eyes naturally need to. No finger movements. Nothing. Brennan will be in the room. Recording everything. There'll be a social worker, Dr. Patel, maybe another neurologist. Nathan will probably bring Sabrina. Blink. If he signs the papers to withdraw support, if he pushes for it in front of witnesses while we have recordings of him admitting to cutting your brake line, that's enough. The DA can move. She pauses. But Paisley, once this starts, there's no going back. If he realizes you're conscious, if he panics, blink. 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 Danger. I know. Okay, she whispers. Okay. Then we do this. Friday morning arrives with pale winter light filtering through the blinds. My body is a temple of stillness. My mind is a weapon being sharpened. For years, I mistook generosity for love, mistook sacrifice for partnership, mistook silence for peace. Now, I'm learning the quiet math of self-respect. Each breath the ventilator pushes into my lungs is a countdown. Each beep of the heart monitor is a drumbeat before battle. I hear footsteps in the hallway. Voices. Nathan's voice, smooth and sorrowful, talking to someone about difficult decisions and what she would have wanted. The door opens. Dr. Patel enters first. Then a woman I don't recognize, the social worker, probably. Then Detective Brennan in a suit. Clipboard in hand. Looking every bit the hospital administrator. Then Nathan. And Sabrina. She's wearing my necklace. They taught me that love meant giving. Today, I'm teaching myself that love can also mean stopping. Dr. Patel begins to speak, his voice gentle and professional. Mr. Morrison, thank you for coming. I know this is difficult. And I lie perfectly still. Silent. Waiting. My silence has already spoken. Now it's time to let them hear it. The conference room is smaller than I imagined. White walls, gray carpet, a long table with too many chairs, February light filtering through Venetian blinds, casting bars of shadow across everyone's faces. Dr. Patel sits at the head of the table, hands folded. The social worker, her name is Miss Chen, sits beside him with a folder thick with forms. Detective Brennan stands near the window, clipboard in hand, looking bored and bureaucratic. Nathan sits across from them, Sabrina at his side. She's wearing a black dress, respectful, mourning. My necklace catches the light. And I'm here. On the monitor they've wheeled into the room, my face fills the screen via video feed from the ICU, eyes closed. Ventilator breathing for me, the perfect image of a woman already gone. Thank you for coming, Mr. Morrison, Dr. Patel begins. His voice is gentle, practiced. I know this is incredibly difficult. I just want to do what's right for her, Nathan says. His voice cracks slightly. Perfect grief, perfect performance. Paisley wouldn't want to live like this. She always said she never wanted to be kept alive by machines. I never said that. But no one in this room knows that except Caroline, who stands in the corner by my monitor, her face carefully neutral. We understand, Miss Chen says softly. We've prepared the necessary documentation. The withdrawal of life support form, the DNR confirmation, and the cremation authorization. Once you sign, we can begin the process of making your wife comfortable in her final hours. Nathan reaches for the pen. Sabrina's hand finds his. Supportive. Loving. This must be so hard, she murmurs. It is, Nathan says. But I know it's what she'd want. He signs the first form. The sound of pen on paper is obscenely loud in the quiet room. Then the second. He's reaching for the third when he pauses, looks up at Sabrina. Thanks for being here, he says. I couldn't do this without you. Of course, baby, she says. And then, so quietly, I almost miss it through the monitor's speaker. Thanks for the insurance, babe. Nathan smiles. Just slightly. Dr. Patel's expression doesn't change. But Detective Brennan moves. Actually, Mr. Morrison, Brennan says, closing the door. Before you sign that last form, there's something we need to discuss. Nathan looks up. Confused. I'm sorry, who are you? Detective James Brennan, NYPD. He pulls out his badge, and this is Assistant District Attorney Lisa Ortiz. A woman I hadn't noticed before steps forward from behind the door. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. Nathan's face goes white. What's going on, he asks. I don't understand. We've been investigating some irregularities surrounding your wife's accident, Brennan says calmly, and we'd like you to listen to something. He pulls out a small speaker. Presses play. Sabrina's voice fills the room, tinny but clear. So, cutting the brake line actually worked? Nathan's voice. I had to be sure. The brake line was tricky. I watched 3 YouTube videos to make sure I cut it right. The color drains from Sabrina's face. That's not, she stammers. Brennan presses play again. Nathan's voice. Once she's gone, everything becomes ours. The house in Scarsdale, the investment accounts, her half of the business. Sabrina's voice. God, Nathan, you really pulled this off. The room is so quiet I can hear the ventilator through the monitor. Each mechanical breath. Nathan stands abruptly. Where did you get that? That's illegal. You can't. Hospital security footage with audio, Ada Ortiz says smoothly. Perfectly legal, especially when there's reasonable suspicion of attempted murder and insurance fraud. This is insane, Nathan says. His voice is rising, panic bleeding through the cracks. My wife is dying. You're harassing me during the worst moment of my life. Your wife, Caroline says quietly from her corner, is not dying. Everyone turns to look at her. Paisley has locked-in syndrome, Caroline continues. She can hear everything. She's been conscious this entire time, and she heard every word you said. Nathan's face goes from white to gray. That's impossible, he whispers. Is it? Brennan asks. He nods to Caroline. She moves to the monitor, adjusts the camera angle. Paisley, she says gently, can you hear me? And I open my eyes. Not on the monitor. In the room. Because I'm not in the ICU anymore. I'm sitting in the wheelchair in the corner, behind the door where Nathan couldn't see me when he walked in. I've been here the whole time. My body still won't move much. My voice is still gone. But my eyes work. And I'm looking directly at my husband. Nathan makes a sound like a wounded animal. Sabrina gasps, stumbles backward, her hand flying to her mouth. Hello, Nathan, I try to say, but it comes out as barely a whisper. Caroline speaks for me. She wants you to know she heard everything. Every plan, every lie, every word. Nathan's legs give out. He collapses back into his chair. Paisley, he starts. But Detective Brennan is already moving, pulling handcuffs from his belt. Nathan Morrison, you're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and insurance fraud. You have the right to remain silent. The words fade into background noise. I'm watching Sabrina. She's crying. Mascara running. The necklace, my necklace rising and falling with her rapid breathing. Our eyes meet. And I smile. Just slightly. Just enough. Justice doesn't need to be screamed. It just needs to be spoken at the right time. The handcuffs click shut around Nathan's wrists. And for the first time in 3 weeks, I take a breath that feels like my own. After the verdict, silence became my favorite sound. It was the sound of justice finally breathing. Nathan got 12 years. Attempted murder, conspiracy, insurance fraud. The judge called it a calculated and cold-blooded plot against a vulnerable victim. His lawyer argued for leniency: 25 years of marriage, no prior record, temporary insanity. The prosecutor played the recording of him discussing brake lines. The jury took 4 hours. Sabrina took a plea deal. 7 years as an accessory. She cried on the stand, said Nathan manipulated her, that she didn't know what she was doing. Then they played the recording of her asking if cutting the brake line actually worked. Her mother sat in the gallery and wept. I watched from my wheelchair in the front row, Caroline beside me. My body still barely responds. 3 months of physical therapy has given me back my right hand, some movement in my neck, the ability to speak in short, halting sentences. The neurologist says I may walk again. Maybe. In a year. Maybe 2. But I'm alive. And they're not free. That's enough. The day Nathan was sentenced, as they led him out in handcuffs, he turned to look at me. Our eyes met across the courtroom. You weren't supposed to survive, he said. Loud enough for everyone to hear. I smiled. That's your biggest mistake, I whispered back. I don't know if he heard me. But Caroline did. She squeezed my hand. The newspapers ran the story for weeks. Husband's murder plot foiled by nurse's vigilance. Locked-in syndrome patient exposes attempted murder. Manhattan woman survives husband's brake-line sabotage. Nathan's consulting firm collapsed within days. Clients fled. His partner, a man named Doug who'd known us both for 15 years, released a statement calling Nathan's actions unconscionable and unforgivable. The house in Scarsdale sold at auction to cover legal fees. I didn't want it anymore anyway. Too many ghosts. Too many memories of cooking dinner while my husband plotted my death. I bought a small apartment in Astoria. 1 bedroom. Same neighborhood where we started. But this time, it's just mine. Sabrina's family stopped speaking to her after the trial. Her father, a retired police captain from Staten Island, gave an interview, saying he was ashamed and heartbroken. Her younger sister changed her last name. I heard through Caroline that Sabrina writes letters from prison. Long letters. To me. I've never opened them. I didn't need to ruin them. Their lies had already done that. Sometimes I see Nathan's sister at the grocery store. She looks away now, pretends she doesn't see me struggling with the shopping cart, gripping the handle with my one good hand. The same sister who cried at my bedside, who told Nathan how strong he was being. I don't blame her. She believed the performance. They all did. People used to whisper that I'd lost everything, my health, my marriage, my life as I knew it. Now they whisper about Nathan and Sabrina, how they lost everything that mattered. I'm in physical therapy 4 times a week, slowly relearning how to grip a fork, how to stand without trembling, how to speak full sentences without my voice giving out. It's humiliating and exhausting, and sometimes I cry in the shower where no one can hear. But I'm doing it. My therapist, a woman named Dr. Santos, says I'm one of the strongest people she's ever worked with. I tell her I didn't have a choice. She says that's exactly what makes it strength. 6 months after the sentencing, I'm sitting in my apartment on a Sunday morning, coffee in my shaking right hand, sunlight streaming through the window, NPR playing softly on the radio. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel, my old friend. The one who visited me in the hospital with peonies. Thinking of you today. Want to grab lunch this week? I text back with my thumb slowly. Yes. I'd love that. Another text. Caroline, physical therapy at 2. I'll pick you up. Bring your attitude. I smile. Life has become small again. Simple. Coffee and sunlight and text messages from people who actually care. And it's enough. More than enough. I used to think marriage was the foundation of my life. That without Nathan, I'd crumble. But foundations can be rebuilt. I flip through my phone to the Photos app. There's a folder I haven't looked at in months. Wedding pictures, vacations, anniversary dinners. I hover over the delete button. Then I stop. Not yet. Not because I want to remember him. But because I want to remember what I survived. Some debts don't need to be collected. Life has its own way of balancing the books. Outside my window, the city moves. Sirens wail. People shout. The subway rumbles underneath the street. New York keeps breathing. And so do I. I take another sip of coffee. The cup doesn't shake quite as much as it did yesterday. Progress is slow. But it's mine. And no one can take that away from me. Not anymore. After the noise fades, what's left isn't victory. It's understanding. I'm standing on the small balcony of my Astoria apartment, coffee in hand, still gripping it with both hands, because my right one shakes less when the left helps watching the September sunrise over the East River. It's been 18 months since the accident. 14 months since the trial. A year since I moved into this apartment and started learning how to be Paisley again. Not Nathan's wife. Not the victim. Just Paisley. The physical therapy is relentless. 4 days a week, sometimes 5 when I'm feeling strong. I can walk now slowly, with a cane, but I can walk. My speech is clearer. My right hand can hold a pen for maybe 20 minutes before it cramps. Dr. Santos says I'm a medical miracle. I say I'm just stubborn. Both things can be true. Caroline comes over every Sunday. We walk her, matching my slow pace without complaint, along the waterfront, talking about everything and nothing. Her daughter just started college. Her husband is renovating their kitchen. Normal life. Beautiful, boring, normal life. She saved me in ways that go beyond the recordings and the detective and the trial. She saw me when I was invisible, and she refused to look away. Last month, we started a support group, small. Just 6 women at first, meeting in the community room at the library. women trapped in financially abusive relationships, women whose partners control the bank accounts, the property, the narrative, women learning to say enough. I told my story. The whole thing. From the break line to the ICU to the moment I opened my eyes in that conference room. Afterward, a woman named Maria came up to me crying. "I thought I was the only one," she whispered. "I thought I was crazy." "You're not crazy," I told her. "And you're not alone. We're expanding." Caroline and I wrote a grant proposal. Applied for nonprofit status. The Second Chance Fund, financial assistance and legal support for women leaving abusive marriages. 3 months ago, we got our first approval. We helped a woman named Jessica leave her husband, who'd been forging her signature on loan documents for years, helped her find a lawyer, helped her get a restraining order. Last week, she texted me a photo of her new apartment keys. That felt like justice too. Not the courtroom kind. The human kind. I used to believe love meant giving everything: your time, your money, your dignity, your peace. I thought sacrifice was the currency of devotion. That if I just gave enough, tried hard enough, loved purely enough, it would be returned. But love isn't a transaction. And kindness without boundaries isn't love. It's surrender. I'm learning that now. Learning that saying no doesn't make you selfish. That walking away doesn't make you a failure. That sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is refuse to be destroyed. On quiet nights, when the city sounds fade and the apartment is still, I sometimes think about Nathan. Not the man who tried to kill me. I've made peace with the fact that person is a stranger I never really knew. I think about the man I thought he was. The one I met 27 years ago at a coffee shop on Amsterdam Avenue, who made me laugh so hard I snorted espresso through my nose. The one who danced with me in our terrible apartment with the broken radiator. The one I built a life with, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. That man never existed. And mourning someone who was never real is a strange kind of grief. But I've learned to carry it. Justice isn't about watching them fall. It's about standing again without hate. Nathan writes letters sometimes. From Sing Sing. They come in plain envelopes, my name and address in his familiar handwriting. I don't open them. Caroline offered to read them for me once, just in case there's something you need to know. I shook my head. There's nothing he can say that I need to hear, I told her. Some doors, once closed, should stay that way. Sabrina's mother reached out 6 months ago. A long, tearful voicemail about how sorry she was, how she raised Sabrina better than this, how she prays for me. I never called back. Not out of anger. Out of boundaries. Her daughter tried to help murder me. I don't owe her forgiveness to make her feel better about that. Forgiveness, real forgiveness, isn't for them. It's for me. And I forgive myself. For trusting too much. For ignoring the signs. For believing that love could survive on loyalty alone. I was kind. I was devoted. I was good. And none of that was wasted, even if it was given to the wrong person. Because it taught me who I am. And who I refuse to become. The sun is fully up now, painting the river gold and pink. The city is waking up, sirens, voices, the distant rumble of the 7 train. My phone buzzes. A text from Maria, one of the women in the support group. I filed the divorce papers today. Thank you for showing me I could. I text back. You showed yourself. I just held the mirror. If you've ever lost yourself trying to love someone who only saw your worth in numbers, I hope my story reminds you. It's never too late to choose yourself. Thank you for keeping these stories alive, stories where justice doesn't shout, it heals. I take another sip of coffee. The cup barely shakes at all, and I realize something I haven't felt in years. I'm happy. Not the loud kind, not the kind that comes from someone else's love or approval. The quiet kind. The kind that comes from knowing you survived. Justice gave me back my name, but peace gave me back myself. And that, finally, is enough.